We don't grow from comfort. We grow from pain, from failing. And so you need to avoid it. You need to be uncomfortable with being comfortable. Hey guys, welcome. My name is Melissa from The Purpose Coaching. And if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to know what habits you need to quit to have a successful 2020. In honor of you quitting and killing those bad habits, I wore black. See? Don't ever say I'm not festive. I'm just kidding. I wore black because I love black. Because I went through, I thought I repeat this in every video, but if you haven't, if you don't know, but this year I went through a depression, literally like halfway through the year. First half was just like depression, and the next half was completely different. And a lot of that was thanks to my my health coach. It really pushed me developing healthy habits to now where I can very confidently say that I have habits now that support me. Every morning I do things for myself that make me feel good, make me feel healthy, and it's so crazy. I did a whole video about it. But habits that I'm about to explain to you, I completely can honestly tell you that I was not successful because I had these habits. The bad year I had, the complete failure, all the money I did not make, and all this was because of these bad habits I have. So I'm glad to be your guys' example of what not to do. I went through this, so you guys don't have to go through it. So the first habit I had was being fearful. And I don't want to blame this all on my anxiety, but I am a very anxious person, so I'm always like worrying. But honestly, it was for no reason. I did end up doing the things I was afraid of, and it turns out, I mean, it was not a big deal. And some of the things I was afraid of did happen, and even then, it was not a big deal. It was worse that I waited so long than what happened. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying don't be afraid. We're humans. We are built to avoid pain, to avoid being uncomfortable. So it'd be stupid for me to say that don't be afraid, like stop being afraid. Be afraid, but don't let that stop you. So you grab fear, you hold a hand, and you walk with it. Take it with you and just do your best. Next is the idea of perfection. Again, I have this thing where when I want to do something, I want to do it right, and I research and I look up the best way because I don't want to waste time, and mess up. But that's an idea of perfection and feeling that it has to be right before it starts, and it's not gonna be as much as, again, there was quite a few things that I did, and I eventually did do them, but they took so long because I was researching and everything, and still I still fucked up a lot because it was my first time. So it doesn't matter how ready I thought I was, I still messed up anyway. And I'm like, well, I could have just started sooner and been further along and not waited so long. Stop thinking everything has to be perfect because it's not going to be anyway. So why wait? Next was staying in my comfort zone. Again, comfort zone is so nice and warm, and we all like to be here, but it should be called the death zone. There's no growth there. There's no learning there. There's no improving there. It's just comfort. Unfortunately, we don't grow from comfort. We grow from pain, failing. And so you need to avoid it. You need to be uncomfortable with being comfortable. Does that make sense? So stay out of the comfort zone. Next was being entitled. Oof, I got so entitled. I thought that because I had already achieved a certain amount of success in my eyes, success for me, that I didn't have to do certain stuff anymore, that I had kind of outgrown that, or because I've gotten away with not doing certain things, that meant that it's okay to not do them. And no, it wasn't. I did a whole video about entitlement, but yeah, you're not entitled to anything, not even the breath you're breathing right now. There's a lot of people today that did not wake up. There's a lot of people today that have gotten a death sentence, that they're sick with something and they're not going to live for long. So you thinking that you don't have to do certain things or that you should have certain things, like, no, be grateful for what you have and work hard for what you don't have. You are not entitled. The next is putting up with things. I have an infinite amount of patience, and sometimes that has been my downfall. I let people waste my time. I let people give me excuses for why things took too long, or why I should wait, or why not yet. Let's do this first. Let's try this first. And no, that wastes so much time. You need to have a zero tolerance with people beating you around the bush and making you wait. Only spending time with people at the same level as me. Yeah, I'm someone that I enjoy comfort. I enjoy the same stuff. I'm an introvert, so I love being around only my family, my friends, and people that I know. And I don't really like putting myself in situations where I don't know people or where I feel uncomfortable. But that's what you have to do. You will only grow as far as your circles. So if I'm like a 7 and I only hang around with 7s, I will only ever be a 7. But if I hang around with 10s and see what 10s do, how 10s think, how 10s deal with problems, how 10s face adversity and roadblocks, will grow my thinking and my ability to maybe an 8 and or maybe at one day a 9 and maybe eventually a 10 or whatever, you know. I don't think you can ever really be like a 10-10. So yeah, stop spending time with people that are at the same level as you. Putting yourself last. Oh yeah, that I'm constantly working on, and I feel bad having to say no to people, and I feel like I'm letting them down, or I feel bad because they help me and then they're asking for help. The reality is people value their time differently. I value my time differently as other people, and maybe for what may not be a big deal to someone else is a big deal to me. And we have to be aware and respect that of each other. Thinking things will always stay the same. No, it's not. Change can come at any moment, and you need to know that. We're meant to change as humans. The cells in your body right now are changing as we speak, and change is coming sooner or later, but it is coming. Don't think it's not. Next is thinking you can do this all by yourself. No, you can't. If you were able to, you would have done it already. And you need to be real with yourself. When I said earlier about not letting people dig you around, that includes yourself. If you feel like, okay, I'm if you know you should hire a trainer, but you're like, well, no, I don't need a trainer. Running is free and I can do it and blah blah. And you've given yourself a goal and you haven't done it in months. Stop being such a cheap ass, okay? You're not gonna work out because if you had that discipline, you would have done it already. You obviously need help, so go hire someone to help you. No one succeeds alone. Nobody. I don't know if this is a habit, more maybe it's like a thought. Maybe these are all thoughts. I don't know. Thinking that you're healthy. I don't care how healthy you think you are. Maybe you have the physical health, but mentally or emotionally, no matter how healthy you think you are, you're not. So go find out what it is you're not healthy with. If you feel like you lack energy sometimes, or you're always sad, or you're always worrying, or you're always stressed, or you have anxiety, or that's all health too. So go get checked out and find out what it is that you're not healthy with and go work on it. Next is holding things in. If you guys are anything like me, we have the habit of dealing with things on our own. Actually, we're probably usually the person that our family come to talk to us and for us to help them deal with their stuff. But we don't actually have anyone that we go to. And if we do, it's rare. Like, it has to be a really big problem. And no, you don't have to do that. And it doesn't help you. It's not helping anyone. Again, just like my last tip, you will not get to your goal alone. You cannot do this by yourself, and this is part of that. Sometimes just venting, sometimes just talking about it, sometimes just having someone else's point of view is so helpful. So talk about it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't feel like you're being negative or you're whining to somebody. Confide in someone and just talk about it. It really does help. Now, in my next video, we're going to talk about habits that you want to create for 2020. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and comment below what's the first habit you're going to quit.